readers. Well, Tutu has decided to join me with this little activity that I wanted to show you guys. So we'll see how this goes. Um, Spring is a great time to get out into nature and see what you can find, but also what you can collect. And I'll include some links with this video on how to ethically collect things from nature in case you want to make a little jar or a little box with the things that you collect. I actually make these as gifts for friends, and I thought I would show you how to make one today and tie it into our book, Tree, that I read earlier that I love so much. The Victorians used to make these things called bell jars, which are very elaborate, and they would soak flowers and plants and items from nature in beeswax and then make like a little diorama or terrarium out of them. Terrarium-like thing. These aren't really bell jars. I just call them nature jars, and I get a kick out of making them. So here's one that I made and I actually kept because I liked it so much. I have a robin's egg shell that I found one spring. You'll be able to find robin egg shells pretty soon. I found some great feathers. I didn't take them from the birds. I just found them in the yard, and those were great finds. And then a really lovely, beautiful, intact monarch butterfly that didn't make it on its migration. So I put it in the jar with a little mix of little tiny shells from freshwater creeks in Ohio, and some little pebbles, and just, some little things. So here's my example. And then I actually have a picture I took of all the items on my tray here that we'll put in the video. And again, these are all things that I found already dead. I found in the garden, I found in the yard, I found walking in the woods. And I have just set them aside, and I haven't made a nature jar in a really long time. So I have a lot of great things to use to show you today. And if you're interested in being outside, and if you're interested in natural science, you could start collecting things, and you can pick a jar, or you could recycle a jar from the fridge, and you can even maybe make a special box if you want. I have this little box that someone gave me as a gift on a trip. It's got an oak leaf and an acorn on it. It's a very nice box, but I keep some nature stuff in here too. But you can just use any box or jar from around the house, and you can collect things all spring, all year really. If you like, when you get it to a point where you think it would make a nice gift, you could always trade it with a friend in your neighborhood or a classmate. So that could be fun. Maybe you have a friend in the neighborhood and you guys can make your own nature jars and exchange them. But again, I'll have some links about how to collect things from nature. You don't want to take anything that's alive. You don't want to take anything from something that's alive, okay? If you find a broken robin's egg shell in your yard or on your walk, that robin's already hatched and doesn't need that shell anymore. You're not going to take eggs out of a nest or feathers from birds, or take a butterfly or moth that's alive and keep them until they're not, okay? That's not what we do. There's plenty of things you can find that's already lived its life, and you can keep it as a specimen. That's actually what they're called in museums, is specimens. So for today, since I have so much stuff, and I want you to be able to see, I have a really big jar. Yes, it's an antique jar. Good guess. And this jar is very round, like a candy jar in a general store, or almost looks like, what is at the bottom? It says T March 27. I don't know what that means, but it could be like a candy jar in a general store, and it also kind of looks like a very simple fishbowl. So the first thing that I want to put in my nature jar is I have this beautiful collection of Johnny Jump Ups, which are kind of like a wild violet that just jump up randomly in a yard or a garden. And a couple years ago, I had a lot in my herb garden, and I was thrilled, and I collected them and I dried them. And then for the last couple of years, I haven't had any. So they're kind of strange, Johnny Jump Ups. And I think I am just going to kind of sprinkle them along the bottom, not the whole bottom, because I'm going to be putting other things in this jar, but I'm going to kind of line them up so that when you turn the jar, they'll almost get their own little section. Like so. Very pretty, huh? I like Johnny Jump Ups. And I think I will keep with the flower theme. I have some dried zinnia heads that I think were meant to go in the garden, and I never planted them. So I think I'll continue to line the edge with some of these zinnias. Oh, this was a pretty purple one. I'll put that one in there. So you could use dried flowers, you could use seed pods, you could use acorns. I got this in Nashville a couple years ago. We don't have acorns like this around here, do we? You can even see the acorn inside there. There were thousands of them in the park I was at, so I was not really taking food from the squirrels. They had plenty. And I have some little acorns still with their caps attached. I think I'll put those on the heels of the zinnias. So Johnny Jump Ups kind of come up in May or in June, and zinnias come up later in the summer, August and September. And then I have some acorns here for the fall. So I have subconsciously, unconsciously created a seasonal ring here, kind of like the seasons in the back of our tree book. Didn't even realize I was doing it. All right, what else do I have here? I'm not going to use everything on this tray. This is just kind of to give me some choice. I think I'm going to skip the little pine cones, but I have a couple little pine cones. The thing about pine cones is that they're all different sizes and shapes and even colors depending on the pine tree, so those are fun. But I do have some lovely little butterflies. I need to find the names of these guys. I should know them off the top of my head, but they're native to Ohio. Like I said, I found that one in the garden. And if you're asking if Miss Julie just finds stuff like this and puts it somewhere in her house until she does an activity like that, the answer would be yes, apparently. But hey, it's come in handy now, right? I'm doing this video for you. Oh, these are lovely. I need to find out what kind of butterflies these are. I might try to find that out and put it in the link. They have those lovely eye spots that kind of fool a predator into thinking they're bigger than what they are. They can flash those wings, right, with these big eye spots, and it can look like eyes to a predator. I think I'm going to ever so gently try to perch him on the acorns. Maybe this big showy rock. I don't know. I'm going to think about him. And I have this very beautiful little pebble. I don't know where I found that. I don't think I bought it somewhere. I do think I found it somewhere. It's very pretty. It's little, but he'll go very well with that other orange butterfly. And then I think this is a lovely little, it always makes me sad when I find a dead bee, whether it's a bumblebee or a mason bee or a honeybee. And I found this bee in the garden, oh my gosh, over a year ago. And I just put him in a little jar. It made me sad to find him, or her. It's most likely a her, actually. Most bees out in the wild are girl bees. Just a fact. Put that with maybe the violets, resting on the Johnny Jump Ups, maybe. Ooh, look at that. See my progress here? I've kind of made like a ring of different seasonal nature items. So, this is very basic. If I really got into it, I could get dried moss and leaves. And you could actually take a round jar like this and make one of those terrariums that are so popular with succulents and moss and other little plants. Those are very beautiful and nice. This is just something to show you as an example of what you could do with things you find in your neighborhood and garden. All right, I think I'm almost done. I've used quite a bit of what's on my platter actually. I think I'm gonna skip all the seashells, beach stone stuff, which I found maybe some of this in Lake Michigan and other places. This is really turning out to be a mostly Ohio jar, with the exception of the giant acorns from Nashville. So I think I will use this beautiful stone and put right in the middle. It's a little wobbly. I wonder if this flatter side will work. Oh, I think it will work quite nicely. And let's put our showpiece insect, this beautiful monarch butterfly that died with their wings straight open. Not sure where I found this either, probably just around the house. I'm going to try to gently, slowly put. Oh, looky there, I did it. I don't have the best fine motor skills, but I did it. So here is my nature jar, and I can always take things out, put them in other jars, add things to it. But I think for now, this is the example that I'll show you. Here's my little homage to Ohio, mostly. I can't have an Ohio nature jar without something. Hold on just a second. I'm back. I forgot I had a couple Buckeyes in a drawer. Can't have an Ohio jar without a Buckeye. Right there. All right. Theme. There's my nature jar. Make one of your own. Trade with a friend. Take care of yourselves, readers. I'll see you next time.